Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on what time you're watching this next episode from me, Avomance. Today, we're going to get some building done. Yeah, we're still going to stay around this area. I've done a little bit more that I'll show you in a minute, and in the background there you can see what looks like another long bridge, and that is going off somewhere very, very exciting. So, I think before I do anything though, I do have to make a bit of an apology because I made a bit of a mess up. Last time, when I was doing the recipes for the fishing farm, I gave the recipe for a jukebox. If I could facepalm, I would. Whereas I should have given a recipe for a note block. Now the recipe for the note block is on the screen. I was pretty close. Just put redstone instead of diamond on what I did for the jukebox, and that's happy days. But I was a bit of a wily, so never mind on that one. Whoops-a-daisy. Also, when I was building the tree farm, if you remember, I just had about 400 gazillion buckets of water. I could, of course, have done an infinite water source. I have to thank about 1 billion people who said in the comments, I wish it was 1 billion, that basically said, Avo, you're a complete wally, why haven't you just used an infinite water source? And the answer is, because I am indeed a wally. But thank you very, very much for pointing it out. I really, really like it when you guys say, Avo, you've done a complete plonker again. Can you please make sure you do it right next time? Whoops-a-daisy. Never mind. Hopefully this one, I won't do anything wrong. But I reckon I probably will. Should we crack on with it? Let's do it. I had to show you this first because I'm proper happy with it. Look at that. It is a completed map wall. I actually made it one higher than it was before, so it's one taller. So I can't reach the top. I can't reach the top. It's one taller because I wanted to get the top of the peninsula in properly rather than it just be a bit of a blob at the end and not really show. Now, I could keep going, really, couldn't I? But what I've not done around the back here is I've not done this one. This one will do it much better. But I really like it. Map walls are awesome. If you don't know how to make a map wall, you can watch the previous episode that showed you how to make a map wall. Fairly logical. But that isn't what I wanted to do today. That was just a bit of a filler because I wanted to show off my map wall because it's brilliant. I wanted to show you something I have done here, which is a meat farm. Look, I'm going to run past the meat farm because I want to show you that I have... Oh no, why have I slowed down? Quick, speed up again. Speed up. There we go. There we go. Right, look. My cows are gone. I've taken away all my cows. I've been doing loads of stuff with this as well. I've been taking away all my cows. They've gone. But they're not. They're in the meat farm. I'm going to show it to you right now. So here it is. Look, we've got basically a bunch of trapped cows. Underneath there, we've got a spinny minecart with hopper, very, very much like we did on the sugarcane farm. And then we've got two chambers. We've got the great meat cooker, which is there, and we've got the bit up here, which is walk all the way around. I've made it walk all the way around just because it means that you can just look all the way around. It's quite nice. And in here, we've got loads and loads of cows. And what we do is, I'm going to come back to that in a minute. You don't have to close these. It's just for show, frankly. I'm going to just drop down here because I can. Ow. And what you do is, right here, you've got all these cows. And these used to be baby cows, and now they're big cows. And I want some meat. And what I've got in here is a little bit of meat. Look, so we've got 27 steak, 15 liver. What I've got around here, I've got a little button on the back. And that button on the back releases lava, which kills my cows. And then I pull the lava back in. This is really basic stuff, obviously. And I come round here. And those cows are cooking, and they're deaded. And underneath here, the minecart with hopper is picking it all up. Now, you don't get loads, it's just a little bit, but you can see, look, it pops it up just a little bit. You get a little bit of leather and a little bit of extra steak, which is nice. And once that's done, you come up here, doopy-doo, come around the outside, keep walking around the trim because it's nice, and open up your doobly hooflies here, get your food, and these cows go, give me some food, Avo! I haven't eaten for days, I'm a skinny cow. And I basically feed them up and breed them up like that, and once they've had enough of feeding and breeding, you close it again. You say, that's your lot, you greedy cows, and then you jump up here and you come down here and you got baby cows in there again, because what you've got here, you see, you've got little trap doors that are open. The big cows are too big to fall through, but the baby cows, they're loving falling through that bit, and these cows sadly are doomed. These are doomed cows that shall become my dinner one day. But they don't know that, so please don't tell them because they get upset. I wait for them to grow, and then maybe I could feed up some more and wait for them to grow and do whatever I wanted like that. But ultimately, these cows are going to be my supper when they've grown. And look, I'm teasing you with my crops. And then I do that, and you go, oh, Avo, you're significantly less interesting now. Thank you very much for coming. And that is that. I like that. It's quite a nice little meat farm. It's a little bit like one I did before, but I've not done a tutorial on this. If you fancy a tutorial on it, do let me know. It wasn't hard, it was quite easy, and I'm quite happy to do one. Just let me know and in the comments section below, and perhaps I'll do a farm tutorial on this system, because it is properly simple. Anyway, that is not the main crux of today's episode. The main crux of today's episode is this thing here. Look, it's all about the chickens on this place. No matter how many chickens I kill, or how many chickens I put in there, they all get just a little bit too overwhelmingly lots of them. So let's just have a quick walk along here, shall we? Now, I know I have not done anything with this here, and I've had this since, what has this been, like episode 2, episode 3 or something? I made that, and it is yet to become anything whatsoever. I want it to be a proper landmark, and I'm just not quite ready to do it. In my head, I'm kind of part ready for what I want to do, but I'm not 100% certain. So I'm going to do that at some point soon. I will. But for now, I just want to show you this thing that I've done up here, or at least I've started up here. I've not done it. What I've done is I've built this long road all the way along here, and I put walls on it so as I don't fall over the edge, although I still can fall over the edge if I'm not careful here. So do not fall over the edge. But in the distance here, you can see that is around about 150 blocks away from the land, all the way over there, out over the deep ocean, not just the ocean, but the deep ocean. I am building this structure. Do you know what it's going to be? I reckon you probably do. This is going to be a mob grinder, XP grinder, whatever you want to call it. I'm now doing more and more enchantments, and I'm finding it quite laborious, frankly, to go out bashing stuff. Partly because I've lit up quite a lot of the peninsula already, and that means that I don't get loads and loads of mobs spawning, and partly because when I do go and bash stuff, it takes ages to get experience. So what I want to do is I want to use this and build up experience much faster, so as I can get lots and lots of lovely glowy, because I like my glowy. And we're going to build this up until this is 28 blocks up, which means that when mobs fall from all the way up there, they are basically going to be not deaded, but they'll be nearly deaded. They'll be like really sore and hurt, and oh Avo, please don't hit me. And when I do hit them, they die, and then I get their lovely experience plus any drops that go into there, which is great. So quite simple really. And then this little trapdoor here serves just one purpose, because what happens when you've got a trimmed off area like this and you bash loads of monsters, the XP gets trapped in there. It looks like it's coming over. You get the animation of all the balls coming over onto you, but your XP don't go up. And then you come here and you do that, and all the XP flows into you like you are some kind of XP magnet. And then you can lock it up again, and then the XP or the little monsters like the baby zombies can't get out, so as it's completely safe. And what's good about this is you can't be seen. This slab all the way around, and I've done it all the way around simply so that way when the monsters back out of your way, you can come around the other side and hit them. And so when you come all the way around, you can smack them, but creepers and that can't see you. And when they can't see you, they can't explode in your face, which is not very comfortable. And as a result, your mob grinder doesn't get kablooied and everyone is happy. It's all lit up quite nicely around the base, so you don't get any mobs spawning at the base. And what's going to happen is, obviously, if it's daytime, any mobs in a glass area are going to get burny, but the canopy of the mob farm itself will create enough shadow that anything that falls through the mob farm will not basically splat you. And then you just sit here and you wait, because you can't, it won't work if you're miles away. You have to be kind of 35-ish blocks away from it, which is perfect when you stood here, or maybe up a set of stairs or something. I'll build in a little kind of AFK platform or something like that, that you can actually get your stuff in. So I think we're going to kind of, not block by block, but we're going to build this a little bit together. I've got some of the resources that I'm going to use here. And before any of you say, Avo, why don't you do an infinite water source? These are for dispensers, so I do need a bucket for each one. I'm not entirely sure what design I'm going to do yet. I'm thinking about it, so we might do it a little bit on the fly, which could end up resulting in complete disaster. But should we have a crack? I think we should have a little go at it. What do you reckon? Let's do it. Right, the first thing I've done is build up a set of stairs because I need a bit of an escape route. I've realised I'm going to be towering up and I'm going to need somehow to get down, aren't I? And if I've not got any way to jump into the water and any way to get back up, I'm going to struggle. So I've built this set of stairs up here that is going to allow me to jump back up. And what I'm going to do, hang on, how many have I gone? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 layers of glass so far. I'm going to have to do another several. So this is going to be 5. It does not have to be glass on this, by the way. This could be anything you want it to be. I quite like glass because I quite like seeing them fall down. I guess I'm a little bit vicious like that. But you could maybe, after a little while, and I will after a little while, stop this being glass and turn it into something more opaque so as the light doesn't encroach into the farm. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've done 6 rows. This is row 7. I'm going to keep going up to about row 15 in glass, or until I run out of glass. And then I'm going to carry on in a more opaque block. And that's going to allow me just to get a nice light type, because I've not got nearly enough glass here. This is crazy. I forgot how much resource you actually need for these things. It's quite a lot, isn't it? Goodness me. I'm going to have to go and get some more resource because I'm not going to have nearly enough here. And then I'm going to have to tower up to be able to do it again. This is a nightmare. This is bad preparation, Avomance. What are you on? There we go. Keep going all the way around like this. Have I got enough to do one more row? I don't think I have I? Have I got any more glass? Oh, I've got another thing of glass. That's all right. So keep going all the way around like this. And I'm going to have to kind of build my way across a little bit as well. Otherwise, I'm going to end up... Where's that fella there? 6 and up. I forgot. Is anybody still counting? I've stopped counting. This isn't going to work, is it? I've done it very poorly. I need to continue to count. This is what Joanna MTF Plays refers to as me bumbling along through the world. And she is absolutely right. This is what I would definitely refer to as bumbling. The last thing I want to do, by the way, is fall down the middle of that. That would hurt a lot, and I'd be trapped inside without the ability to get out. So what I'm now going to do, I think I'm going to crouch, and I'm going to come along out this way, just so as I can jump into the water. Like that. So if I then jump and I don't fall on the nasty thing that kills me, which is great. Up we go. Take a breath. Happy days. Right, so we've done a little way up there, but not nearly enough. And I'm also obviously going to need to get rid of... I shouldn't have done that in glass, should I? I should have done that in rock. You absolute wally. Anyway, I'm going to go and get some more resources, and I'll be back perhaps when I finish the tower and I'm ready to do something a little more structural. It's a surprise MateSpace entry, yes, and you should be surprised because you weren't expecting it, you weren't meant to. But we are going to go and see who is in the MateSpace this week. I think what we're going to do first is we're going to have a bit of a review. We've got the Talbot boys there, we've got Anna over that side there, look, and we've got a few more people. We've got Lee, we've got Champ, we've got WAP, we've got Joanna who was there last week, and this time we have got we have got Creating with Crystal. Crystal, it is great to have you in the MateSpace. You are always there on the channel. It's really great to see your comments. Always a pleasure. You definitely deserve this spot. Thank you very, very much for your support. It is an absolute pleasure to have met you on the channel. Anyway, but we have got to do a little bit of XP grinder, mob grinder type stuff, haven't we? So we better get wriggling, I think. Otherwise, we are going to end up not getting it built anytime this week. Let's get cracking. So we are walking past the mystery circle. One day I am going to get that built. I am, probably in the next few episodes. But we are coming back to where we have partially built the upper platform. You can see it's actually starting to look quite significantly bigger now. Little bit of a confession. I managed to record the next few sections of my video with the mute of my microphone on, which means I'm now having to narrate it over the top rather than doing it as I'm doing it. So if it doesn't seem quite right, that's because I'm doing it after the fact, and that is unfortunately the way it goes. So as you can see, that platform is glass at the top. The reason it's glass is not because we're going to have loads of stuff spawning on glass, because that's not how it works. It's glass because that's just the collection bit. it is not the actual spawning bit. I'm getting all these bits and pieces now so as I can build up the spawn chamber. And I know for an absolute fact I haven't got enough stuff here yet to be able to make this properly. So I'm just going to go up these stairs that I've put some lights and stuff on so as nothing spawns on the steps either. We're looking to maximise as much as possible the space that we can use for spawning, which means that we don't want anything spawning outside of the spawning chamber, which is why we're building it as high as we can realistically. So I've got this other set of steps a little bit dark here, so I think I'm going to need to light this up. I've not got any glowstone in the inventory, so I'm going to have to come back and do that. But I've come up to the top here, because you can see I'm on this tray. It is a tray, isn't it? Let's face it, it's not particularly designy awesome, but it is a decent tray. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a collection, so things that fall out of the chamber above, so as it can be as high as possible, will fall into water and therefore won't take the same kind of damage that they would if they fell onto something hard like the blocks themselves. So that's the idea anyway. And it'll also sweep everything into the hole in the middle. So what I just need to do now is build up this other section here with the tray, making sure I crouch, because if I don't crouch I'm going to fall into the water, which will be very annoying because it means I'm going to have to go back up all the way up the stairs. I've done it a couple of times already, don't tell anybody, but when I was doing the other bits of the tray I fell in twice. Fortunately I fell in the water, not on the land. If I'd have fallen on the land I'd have been a pool of mushy avo goo, but this time I actually fell in the water, so I just got a little bit wet. So that's all right. So we are just finishing off this tray bit here by rimming it around the edge, and that way we're going to be able to put some water across the edges of these trays, which will then swoop across the entirety of the tray. The glowstone here again is to help us not get anything spawning on the rim of these trays, because if we get stuff spawning on the rim of the tray, that's going to reduce the mob cap, i.e. the amount of space we've got for mobs to spawn in the farm. I don't know how efficient this farm is going to be. I'm literally making it up as I go along, which I quite like doing, I have to say. When you do stuff and you're making it up as you go along, you get a little bit more creative. You don't get stuck in a rut and think, oh no, I've got to have that 2 blocks across, because that's not how it works. So, but what I do want to do, because I'm going to be having so much water, I'm not getting caught out again like I did with the tree farm in the last episode. If you've not seen that, go and have a watch of it. It's quite nice. I'm going to make an infinite water source, and it's dead easy. I'm just making a 3x1 tray, and I'll come back to that in a minute because I've not got any water in my inventory at all, and I'll create an infinite water source that I can fill up these trays with. But what I need to do in the meantime is get this last tray section here done properly. So I've got to go out 7 blocks. If I go out 7 blocks, what that's going to allow me to do is to have any water that gets pushed in right at the edge that's got the rim, that water will flow over the edge, because water flows for 8 blocks. So you can see there we've got 1 being the glass, and then the rest comes down to 7 at the end, so I can stick 7 at the top, because otherwise that would have been 8. And then just build up as I go along, making this tray a little bit more full, and once I've got this finished I can fill it up with water, and then we're not going to run out of stuff. We're going to fill it up with water, and we can get the structure of the actual chamber above done. Now I'm a little bit stumped as to how I'm going to get the chamber at the top done, because it's not connected to the rest of the build. It sort of dangles in the air, and I know it offends me a little bit when I don't have gravity working the way it should, but I figured it's a mob spawner, which means it must have some magic, and magic stuff floats, and if you buy that you'll buy anything, and I'm quite happy about that as well. So just need to make sure that we're finishing off this little tray area here, and I will be back having finished off the tray, I think, once we've finished this swoosh. So let's swoosh. So you can see we have put water in 3 of our 4 tray ends, and we've used the infinite water source, which means that we've got an empty bucket here and a few empty buckets that we now need to refill and get into the end here. So this is going to take a few cracks. So we go all the way to the end of the tray, so we kind of work our way back. I'm going to find it probably a little bit easier. And what you want to do is you want to look down and line up your bricks. So there's all my tray water. Let's get the water into my inventory. It's going to be slightly more easy if I do it that way. So line up your brick and put your first bucket on that brick. And what you'll find is when you shove the bucket in, not the sword, the bucket, it gets a little bit confusing. So you need to move to the next brick and then just keep going and moving across bucket by bucket, brick by brick, until you run out of water. And once you've run out of water, it's now dead easy. I don't have to run off and find a source of buckets or waste loads of iron. I can just come to my infinite water source now and take out of the centre section, not either end section, but the centre section, a full bucket and just fill up all the buckets that I've got here, go back to where I last started and continue to fill in the rest of the water. It's dead easy, right? So let's crack on, and once I've got this filled up, I will be back. So all our water is now placed, and what we can do is we can get rid of the water in the water source, but we need to do it starting at one end, because if we take it out the middle, it's just going to keep replenishing. So lose it at one end, lose it at the other end, and then lose it in the middle, and that means you can keep those 3 buckets of water, which is brilliant, and you don't lose any time really. Then we just have to mine out this excess stone, these stone bricks, because they're going to possibly come in handy either with this build or maybe with another one. And if I lose a couple of them, it's not going to be too hard, because I've got absolute boatloads of it back at base, so that's quite good. You can see I've got quite a lot of it already. I don't know how much of it I'm going to use on this build. I think it's going to be quite cobbly rich, this particular one, but I need to get out to the middle, the very middle of that hole. So I need to tower up. I'm not entirely sure how high, and it's not particularly critical exactly how high you tower up at this point. All you need to do is you need to make sure that you tower up high enough that you get as much separation from any potential caves that might be underneath the deep ocean, because there are still potentially caves, even if they're small ones, right past the bottom of the deep ocean. And if your spawning platform is 128 blocks or less away from it, it can still be affected by those caves if there are any mobs in them. So that's what you need to consider, so whether or not you're going to be that close. And then get yourself over across the middle of that square. So that's a 3x3 square, so finding the middle isn't that difficult. There is an actual middle, rather than where a 2x2 square, it could be the top left or the bottom right, is an actual middle square. So we're just going to go across diagonally to get to the centre, and then I'm going to have to estimate and use just a little trick which I'll show you when I get there as to whether or not we are in the centre. So I'm just going to look. We're not quite there yet, so I just need to toggle across one and then come back a couple, come in a couple, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just look to see how much I overlap when I crouch. So if I look for the centre of the edges, it looks like I'm about right, but if I then crouch and go left, it's across the hole, crouch, go right, it's the same amount. You can see, so it goes up to the edge of that 3x3 hole, which means that I'm in the middle of that hole as far as that axis is concerned. And then if I go turn around and crouch the other way, it's the same. I'm against the edge, so you can see it's out the same amount all the way around. And what that means is I am dead centre above that hole. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to tower up a little bit more to get myself just that little bit of extra height above the collection platform, which means I'm even further away from the stuff underneath it, and definitely miles and miles away from the caves that may or may not be at the bottom of the deep ocean. And then I'm going to create a wide platform. Now this platform is going to be, from that centre, I'm going to come out an additional 15 blocks, and that 15 number is fairly critical because that's comprised of 7 plus 8 plus 2. So that's what you're looking for. So 7 plus 8, which is obviously 13, plus 2. In fact, what am I talking about? No, it's 7 plus 8, and 15, and then 2. I can't add up. I'm having a brain fade as a result of having to narrate this rather than do it as I go. So you're coming out 15, then you're coming out another 2 to give yourself the necessary gap at the edge. And then we're just going to keep on doing that in the other direction exactly the same way, and then go to the east and west directions too. And then once we've done that, we're going to have a diamond shaped platform. We're going to connect the edges up, and we're going to get ourselves, oh no, I've fallen in the water. That is why you have to concentrate and make sure you're pressing crouch. If you don't press crouch, you're going to fall in. And now I've got to tower up again, and that's just a pain in the bottom. But I'll be back when I finish this platform, because this is going to take a little while. So we have a full platform here with a wall around the edge, and if you notice, we have got a gap that is too wide all the way around the side. So that gap is now going to be wide enough for mobs to not get caught against the wall, and spiders will still fall down. And spiders aren't ideal. We hate spiders in mob grinders, but they do at least get a little bit fally in this particular one, which is quite a good thing. And this is the center. I've rather cleverly put a block in the middle, so as I can know exactly where it is rather than to dig around and work it out again. And the wall goes all the way around. So what we're going to count out 7 from this middle block. So the block being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And what that's going to give us is the ability to flow water and it fall off. And then we're going to go 7 at a right angle, and then we're going to go 7 diagonally across, which means another 5 blocks obviously. And we fill in that quadrant, that gives us 1/4 of the top platform. And then what we want to do, I've run out of stuff, what we want to do is create exactly that again in the other 3 quadrants by doing the same thing. So we've got from the middle 7 blocks coming out in a quadrant, and that gives us eventually a nice diamond. I'll be back when we've got that diamond. The diamond is now complete. We can go all the way around it. It is a nice even shape, and what that means is that if we place water in the middle of that diamond, the water is going to flow throughout the entirety of this chamber and sweep anything that might have spawned on it off into the collector below. And that is quite a nice large spawning area. So what I need to now get is the center, and I've managed to cover it up. So let's find the center, which is going to be 7 from any of the corners. Just slip a little block there so as we know exactly where it is for the future. And then we want to tower up from it ever so slightly, and we're going to tower up because we're going to be putting some dispensation ability onto it. So we want to put a dispenser so it's pointing with 2 gap underneath. So if we tower up 4, hurt myself, twist my ankle as I fall, cut away the 3, and then put a dispenser facing downwards on that top one, that 4th one, that gives a space between the dispenser and the floor of 2. So we're going to have a 2 space there that the water can then flow from, and that means that we include the ability to spawn underneath the dispenser. We don't lose that spawning block. So if we lose that spawning block, it's just ever so slightly less efficient. Now what we need to do is fill out the entirety of the roof, so I'll be back once I've started doing that. So now I'm up on the wall, and on the wall here I am 2 blocks above the 1st level, which makes me 1 block above the 2nd level, which makes me 1 block below the block below the dispenser. So I've got to come up 3, basically, that's all that's just basically said. You've got to come up 3, and then I can come across using crouch, shift click to come across to the center of this roof, because this is going to be the roof. This is what's going to stop the light from coming in. And mob farms, you used to be able to use half slabs and steps and things like that for your roofs, so as you didn't get anything spawning on top at the same time as blocking out the light from inside. But that don't work anymore. They've messed it all up. Now half slabs don't give you that light blockage. You've got to use a full block. You can see it, look, we're perfectly in line with the block on top there. You've got to use a full block now. It's a bit of a shame because it makes them look really blocky, but such is life, you know. We just have to roll with the punches. Minecraft constantly throws in updates that messes around with redstone and pistons, and now messes around with light as well. Such is life. I'm just going to mark the middle of that one there with a stone brick, so as I know exactly where the middle is. And then I'm just going to complete off this roof, and I'll be back once I have done it. We've got most of the structure done now, and what I'm trying to do here, after having done all that steps, you've got nice long steps to get up to the top, is I'm trying to underpin just 1 more row of the outer wall, just to reduce the light levels inside ever so slightly. It's around the edges, I suspect, because it's kind of parallel and the edges haven't gone below the platform far enough. We could be getting light levels inside of slightly above 7 at the edges, and that reduces the amount of space that we've got for spawning. So if I bring it down just 1 block, that's pretty much going to guarantee me that every single block inside that spawner, irrelevant of the time of day, is going to give me a light level of 7 or less, which means it's going to be really great for spawning. I'm going to have to be really careful here. I'm trying to edge my way around. Remember to shift click, otherwise you're going to go in a drink again, mate. There we go. And you've run out of blocks. Get a new block. Go on, get another block in there. There you go. And right, so just I'm going to complete around this edge. And when I've done that, I'll be back and maybe we can have a bit of a crack of having a go with this farm. What do you reckon? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's get doing it now. So this is what our farm looks like from a distance. You can see it's, let's get a little bit more distance between me and it so as I can see it properly. This is how it looks. So it's still quite big and imposing. Just going out of field of vision, it's about 12 chunks away there. So I've got a single spawning platform at the top. I didn't do a double spawning platform. It just, the mechanics of this design don't really lend itself to more than one spawning platform. Now theoretically we could do it, but I just didn't want to. I think that there's enough space there to be able to get a whole load of mobs coming in. Now this isn't going to be super efficient. This is going to be okay. That's my expectation, that it's going to be okay. But we do need to wire it up and get the redstone going. And so that's why I've got redstone sat in the end. So we're going to go around and we're going to do the redstone not from the bottom here, but from the platform halfway up, because that's going to lift us just a little bit further above the base level, that the caves that could be under the sea, which means there's less likely to get spawning in there, and we're going to be closer to the platform. So I'm going to do the turny-on-y bit on this platform so as we can just sit AFK to let the mobs spawn for a little bit at this side. We're about kind of 30 blocks away, which is more or less optimal. It's not super perfect. 25 would have been better, but we are less than 35 blocks away, so that works quite well. So we stick the button there. We'll get the redstone going up the stairs. I'm not looking for this to be pretty. I'm looking for this to be functional. And we want, before we hit 15, to be able to get a repeater in, because if you have redstone travelling for more than 15 blocks, you completely lose the signal. It basically runs out of steam, and the repeater there gives us the ability to soup that up. And then we're going to turn the corner and keep going on the outside, because that means it's a lot easier to use the repeater. And we're going to get another repeater in this platform as well. And then we want to try and get ourselves up to the top. Now I've got a horrible feeling here that we are not going to have enough signal strength to get to the top and be able to turn before we need to stick another repeater in. So if we just count our way up, I'm pretty confident we're going to have to go too far. Yeah, we are. So we're going to have to adjust these steps ever so slightly to be able to get a flatter section to be able to get a repeater in. Reason being, you can't put a repeater on a step because the redstone needs to go into it and out of it on the same plane, on the same level as the actual redstone wire itself. So where I've knocked out those two stairs, we could put a repeater just there next to those rotating blocks, which is what I'm going to do. And then if I get out these blocks completely, that makes sure that we've got sufficient signal strength, and it creates us a platform that we can work from right here. We need to extend it out just a little bit further in just a moment. There we go, crouch to make this just a little bit further, one more block again, and that's going to allow us to create a new set of steps. This is how you get steps going upwards in survival. You just kind of crouch and crouch and walk backwards. I've got to clear out these bits as well. It's really annoying. It took ages doing these steps, and just because it's more than 15, I've got to do it all again. And now it doesn't look nearly symmetrical enough, and my OCD is properly twitching. But that's fine. We'll just extend these steps up, and I'll crouch and then up the top, and we'll stick them so as they connect. Oh, not again. Now I'm going to have to get in all the way back up again. What a complete nightmare. I think we're going to have to speed this bit up. And we are back up at the top, and I want to just count that we've got sufficient signal strength on that redstone wire. The last thing I want to do is have the redstone run out just before a repeater and it doesn't blooming work, and I'm sat there wondering why there are no mobs coming out. But we are good. We can just slap a repeater in there, and that's going to give us enough signal strength to get to the next step. So just linking up the redstone wire, I need to I need to make sure that I've got enough step there so as I don't fall off and the redstone can turn the corner. So give myself a little bit of extra space there, and then we need to build out these steps, because these steps are now too high and I can't get up them. So if I just slap out one from each of them, that's easy enough. Because they've got a block beyond them, I don't have to build any structure. I do, however, have to recraft all this glowstone that I keep smacking out, which is very annoying. What it has allowed us to do is give a recess in the roof where the entrance is, and I actually quite like the look of that. That's quite good. So we just need to turn the corner of this platform here. We're going to stick a repeater in before we go up to the next level, so we don't end up having the same problem again. So the repeater just needs to go in the center spot of that two-way platform, and then we'll just wire the rest right up to the top until we have got a clear path to the dispenser where we can then link it up with the water. So you can see we're now on the top. You can see what we've also done is we've lit up this roof. The reason we've lit up the roof is because we're not using half slabs. We need some way to stop things spawning on top of the roof, which will then reduce the efficiency of the farm as well. So let's slap that redstone powder right onto the top of that dispenser, so as we get a nice click every time we press the button down at the bottom. So press crouch, there we go, and that should be able to activate the entire system. Really, really simple. Very, very little that we need to do more than that. So now we need to go back downstairs and get that button push, see if we can't get a little bit of XP from this mob farm that we've spent so much time working on.
I've just realised it isn't going to work. I needed to hard power that that dispenser there by putting a block on it and shoving in a repeater so as it hard powered the block. It doesn't work if you just lap the redstone over the top. It does release the water, but it doesn't let the water suck back in. I don't know why. Does anybody in the comments, why does it let the water go out but doesn't suck it back in if it is just redstone wire lapping over the block that's the dispenser? Why does it have to be hard powered like that? Really, really weird. Anyway, we're going back down now because we're going to give it a bit of a test. I promised it we're going to test it. Let's do it. So we're back down at the bottom and we are about to press the button. Hopefully this is going to work, otherwise it's going to be quite embarrassing. Press the button, please work. So give it a few seconds, just wait for these things to swoop down. There we go, there we go. Look, stuff's falling and it is flowing towards the middle. So if we then jump down this way, we're coming. What we got? They're not dying or any dying or any dying or any dying. They're not dying. All right, we're winning. We're winning. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a bit of a go at them like that. 2. Hit them at the back. Oh, something. Oh, right. So the spider can get you through the hole. That's worth knowing. And it can also climb up the thing, of course, because we hate spiders. But it's not super effective, but it's not too bad. There we go. So they're starting to go. Of course, the little witchy poo's drinking its potion, which is very annoying. But so we can just keep killing them around here. Stop drinking your potion, witchy. Yep, it's having a glug, glug, glug. So it's come around the side. I'd say it's not the absolute best XP farm, but I just made it up. What do you want? Blimey. So we got stuff there. What we got left? Just the witches laughing at me, and it's very annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my bow and I'm going to shoot the witch if I can. Will it let me shoot her? There we go. Boom. So that got all of them. But what you can see there, look, is it looks like the XP balls are coming in at me, but they're not. You look, my XP bar is not going up at all, but it looks like they are. Oh, something just somebody just fell and died. Obviously, maybe it's a block too high. Never mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this trapdoor and we're going to get all of our XP. So let's see what happens. So that's gone a full level. That's not too bad. I'm quite happy with that. It wasn't that long an AFK session. Remember to close it up, otherwise baby zombies can get you. I think that wasn't too bad at all. I'm quite happy with that. So obviously what I need to do now is go up and turn that water off again. So let's just go and turn the water off. Coming all the way around. And then we'll close it up. So let's just click that. There you go. Water off. Brilliant. So, I say it's not awesome. It's not absolutely superb as a design. If I'm really honest, it's okay. But it does work. And over time, that is definitely going to pay. What have we got in here? So we've got some sugar, some gunpowder, some arrows, the cobblestone that I mined earlier on and fell down the hole. So, yeah, we got a little bit. It's not too bad. I've done better in terms of this sort of design, but it's a brand new design. I just thought I'd have a little go, and there we are. That's what it looks like. And I am going to call it a day there. That was absolutely superb. Loads of fun to build, relatively low efficiency, but still works. I guess if any of you know an idea or a way to make it work even better, I'll be really, really open and interested in finding out what your thoughts are on being able to make it work better, because it's definitely something I need to do. I need to get loads more XP so as I can start properly enchanting all of this stuff. If you have enjoyed this video, please do make sure you slap that like button all over the place. It'd be great to know if you're enjoying the videos, and then I know to continue to make them. And if you haven't done already, please do make sure you hit that subscribe button. It'll be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.